fight against COVID-19.
The state of Mississippi saw its largest single-day increase in COVID-19 cases. We also saw our largest increase in death numbers.
He says on Friday, just days after lifting some restrictions, the state saw nearly 400 new cases and 20 deaths. Mark Remillard, ABC News.
The Houston Now police confirming 2 officers were on board an aircraft conducting a search when they crashed into an apartment complex's office and pool area early this morning. Both extracted from the wreckage by the fire department and medevac to a nearby hospital. Houston Mayor Sylvester Turner.
Police officers is still in surgery right now, and unfortunately, one of them has passed.
Police will approach the crash as a homicide investigation. The Navy's Blue Angels and the Air Force Thunderbirds flying over Washington, D.C. and Baltimore this morning, saluting our frontline workers fighting COVID-19. And Atlanta coming up next. That flyover expected to start at 1:35 Eastern. You're listening to ABC News.
Ohio is no longer under what is called a stay-at-home order. It's a stay-safe order. Governor Mike DeWine says we can make this work.
My fellow Ohioans, we can do 2 things at once. We can do it. We can stay safe. We can protect each other. We can protect our most vulnerable. And at the same time, move our business back and get people back to work.
Even though businesses are slowly reopening, the governor is asking you to stay home whenever possible, saying that cuts the spread of coronavirus. One of those who likes what the state of Ohio is doing in regards to the pandemic is Northeast Ohio Congressman Tim Ryan, whose district stretches from Akron to Youngstown.
I think Governor DeWine is being as methodical as he can be in trying to do this in the appropriate way. But to just say we've got to hurry up and get back to business and sacrifice all the lives that could potentially be lost, I think is irresponsible. Look,
I was running around.
And Ryan is looking for support for a Heroes Fund to create a $25,000 pandemic
821-980
for essential frontline workers.
Yep.
One state lawmaker is calling Dr. Amy Acton a globalist health director. Republican Representative Nino Vitale criticized the head of the state health department in a Facebook post, saying Acton's extension of a stay-at-home order is unconstitutional and deprives Ohioans of their freedoms.
Till
Schools
at
all
least
the way from
5.
kindergarten to college are trying to figure out what's going to happen for the fall semester. Kent State University has shared plans for the fall that include both in-person and remote courses. First of all, you're on Facebook Live. Return to face-to-face instruction.
We will make it a date.
For more on the coronavirus, go to the iHeartRadio app and tap the podcast tab.
So that's good that you're back. How's it been?
Filling your news feed with the top trending news at the top and bottom of the hour. Columbus's news is on News Radio 610 WTBN.
It's easier to change the world than you think.
All right.
Sponsor a child in extreme poverty with Compassion International, and you will change the world for that child. Just text the word child to 83393 to sponsor right now.
It's always fun for me when I go to Allen's Coin Shop. Run into so many different people doing so many different things. I mean, some people come to Allen's because they need a little scratch. Yeah, maybe they inherited a few pieces from dad or grandpa, or maybe it's just, look, I'm a little short this month, so here's a few things I need to sell so I can come up with some cash. And Allen's is always there for you on that. Other people like me looking to add to their collections. Maybe it's U.S. coins, it's world coins, it's gold, it's silver. I just want to paw through the big kettle of wheat pennies, or I want to dig in that world coin treasure chest. See what I can find. So many different ways to collect, and now 60 years, Allen's has been taking care of people in Central Ohio. So look, if you need a little money and you've got stuff to sell, stop by Allen's. Top prices, that's what they pay every day. And if you're like me and you're looking to add to your collection, shop online at allensinc.com, or do what I love to do, stop in the shop, State Street in Westerville, and see what they've got today. Allen's Coin Shop, serving collectors since 1960.
Live from LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility, this is On Target, the latest from the firearms industry, the products and politics that affect your hobby and liberty. This program may not be politically correct, but it is On Target. Now, your host, Eric Delbert.
Good afternoon. Welcome to On Target. We're broadcasting live from the studios of LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility. That's located at 999 Bethel Road, just west of 315. I'm your host, Eric, along with my father, co-owner Phil. He says to my left, guys, 3 days. 3 days until our Cinco de Mayo Corona opening.
3 days.
3 days, that's it. On Tuesday, the range is going to be back open, back in service. Some limitations on it, not too bad. I think we have every other lane blocked off, but we have
which is actually good because then the hot brass won't be hitting the person next to them.
That is true. But we have we have the sanitizer in each bay. We have hand sanitizer everywhere. It's going to be one of the cleanest places around. So we're so excited about looking forward to that. We are not going to rent eyes and ears, which is understandable for right now, but we have plenty of those to purchase if someone is coming here for the first time. And I think we are renting firearms, so that's...
Oh, we are?
Yeah,
I didn't think we were.
Yeah, we can spray them down and stuff. So we're excited to get a little bit of normalcy back, although we have been open 11 until 4 Tuesday through Saturday this last month and have been doing okay with that. The new hours, the new temporary hours, 10 a.m. until 5. So we're starting to go back to that normal opening time and starting to stretch it out a little bit. So we're excited. It's good to get back to some normalcy.
I just got to say, Mr. Brooks, May 5th.
May 5th.
10 to 5. The range is open.
That's got to be your problem.
That's our problem child, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Well, we are the owners of LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility and are active law enforcement. But for 1 hour on Saturdays, we put together a group of firearm experts to discuss new products in the market, training tips, and oftentimes political topics surrounding the Second Amendment. Our commitment, though, has always been to bring you facts about our industry and ultimately help our listeners and our customers with safe, responsible ownership of firearms. Today on the show, Big Ed has the gun of the week.
Hey.
Sponsored by Clean Water Systems. Okay, I'm going to tee it up, Big Ed.
Tee it up.
You tell me if this doesn't describe it. She's clunky, she's powerful, and to many of us, she's awful pretty.
Absolutely.
Huh?
Right on the dot.
But yeah, I didn't like it because I couldn't get a good grip on it.
Oh, well, Phil.
Not a good
We
grip.
don't need to go there again.
Not a good
You know
grip.
what, Ed, in all honesty, you and I know there was others out there in our department, this was my right hand for a long time as regards to backup. So
yeah.
I'm excited about it, and so we're looking forward to that. Your gun of the week coming
Actually,
up after the break.
You shot better with that
Always
than your
did. Always
your
did.
duty weapon.
I know.
Yeah.
And there was a few times, now that the statute of limitations have been up, that I walked out of the station without my duty gun.
That happens.
And I took this off my ankle, and it fit right into it.
That happens.
You never got off probation.
I think I still am on it. So that's coming up after the first break. At 12:30, our good friend Rex Gore from Blackwing Shooting Centers will check in and let everyone know their plans for opening back up in the coming weeks. And we're excited because they have their outdoor open back up, which is always a good sign of spring and of good things to come. And let's see, we're finally going to get to talking about some of these new items that have been trickling into the store that I've been excited about. So we're going to get to that towards the end of the show. Before that, though, unfortunately, and John, I'm saying this with all kinds of love, unfortunately, John has the news of the day. And you would think in these times that you wouldn't have any negative news in regards to into firearms, but there's so much of it out there right now. There's things that are going on behind the scenes, and it's a lot of it is not good stuff.
No,
so,
it isn't. But it's stuff. So
it is stuff. So we'll get to that here shortly. We want to thank our sponsors: Rampart Hosting, Toyota West, Jackson Lawn Care and Egress Windows, the Trigger Group, Blackwing Shooting Centers, River's Edge Cutlery, CNS Engraving, Clean Water Systems, LAPD Training Facility, and, of course, our good friends out there at MIG or MIG, Chrysler Jeep Dealership in Bell Fountain. Lori, if you're listening out there, guys, she absolutely loves her new car. So she's been taking the long way to work every day, from what I hear. So joining me today in the LAPD studios is JC. He's on the phone. JC, we are so close to having our new set here at the studio. We had a test run of it this week, and if it turns out half as good as we think, it's going to be really sharp.
Well, I can hardly wait to see it, and I know who's helping you with that, and he does such an excellent job with stuff. So it's got to be good. Got to be good. Looking forward to it.
Yep. My father and Coner sits to my left. You know what, Papa? I was thinking as I was writing up some of the stuff for the show. you really have gone about a month without begging for anything. You haven't had random revolvers on your table. I mean, you've really taken a kind of a soft approach.
A little bit of soul searching, Eric. I mean, I'm doing the same thing with trying to determine whether I want to buy a new truck or a used truck. You know,
Right.
A little bit of soul searching there.
That's right. Big Ed, our good friend, sits to my right. And I hate to air our grievances amongst others, but everyone knows you've been with us now for probably about 5 months or so.
Has it been that long?
That long?
Well, I'm just guessing. Probably 4 or 5 months.
You mean on the radio?
On the radio.
Yes,
on the radio.
yes.
And you have, being the newest one, you're on a probationary period, meaning that at any given time we can say, Ed, you know what, thanks, but no thanks, and don't bother coming back next week. So we were close because you've been here through all this COVID, and you're driving here and everything. We were close to cutting you free. I know your fans are calling for it and everything else.
Are you trying to say that you're not?
But there was a setback.
Well, I've got a couple setbacks.
Wait a minute.
Well,
I
that's
wasn't
what I
even
was
here all
talking
week.
about.
Okay, I'm not sure about your setbacks, but I've got some setbacks.
Right. So there was a main one this week. And, JC, I know, you're part of the voting crew here that you're going to chime in on this. What's the main thing this week that he failed to do?
He failed to notify the rest of the members here what the gun of the week was.
Right.
Wait a minute. I talked to the head honcho, and he said, are you going to let everybody know? I said, you can take care of that for me.
That doesn't work, Ed.
Why not?
You have to reach
It
out.
doesn't work.
Wait, you guys
I've been
don't.
admonished for that myself.
Emily,
So,
please help me here.
You
have
guys
to-
don't keep it a surprise.
No,
would he
the
have to
gun of the week, we
tell?
prepare for that. There's
Why can't you have it
hours.
as a surprise?
Well, there has been times where we've taken that. We want that initial reaction. But most of,
Okay,
Emily,
so that's one thing. What's the second?
well, that's all I had.
I've got a second one.
Wait, what is it, Phil?
You come in, you eat a day-old donut,
Yeah.
the last one in the box,
Yeah.
and where's the box, Ed?
It's still sitting on the counter.
Yeah, why didn't you throw it away?
Because the trash can's full. You didn't empty the
No,
trash.
the trash can's not full.
Yeah, but I don't know if that would kick him off probation. Or,
Well,
that's
that's going to extend it about a week
Oh,
or
for
so.
God's sakes.
So he sits
Help
to my
me out
right.
there, you guys. Help
He
me.
sits to my right. And the neat thing, I'm going to give you one kudo here, Ed,
Oh,
is
one?
that you
Just one?
Just one. He runs the Facebook during the show. So if you have questions during the show, if you're watching during the show, certainly message in, and Ed will answer it. And during the breaks, when the commercials are playing, Emily pipes those down, and Ed talks to you there
Yeah,
too.
if Eric remembers to push the button.
That is true. So if you missed a show, you can always catch the podcast. That's at 610WTVN.com. It's on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and, of course, Facebook Live is a great place to see it. You can see all kinds of things. There's all kinds of neat things on the studio desk today, and it's out there archived to watch down the road if you miss it live. Also on YouTube. Speaking of live, I think this is the last week for the D&E show. We're doing, hey, there's D right now. Hey, D. We are doing, we've had a series that we've done because we've sold so many firearms to new firearm owners that we've done some I don't know, call it training, but it's just some basic safeties. We've gone over different aspects of owning a firearm. Last week we talked about securing it in your home, and this week we're going to go over cleaning it. So Mondays at noon we go on live, and you can ask questions and stuff.
Got a
It's been
bone
good.
to pick with you there.
Pardon me?
I got a bone to pick with you about that little show
Yes?
that you put on with D. I asked you to do something, texted it through the show where D was doing my job, asking you to show something about shotguns. Never heard a word.
Never responded?
Never.
You know what? I'm going to have a word with her about that.
Well, you should have seen it too, though.
Yeah,
I thought
well,
you were
I
in
didn't.
charge.
I was. Well, no, I don't.
Boy, I'll tell you.
So that's a good thing on Monday. I definitely want to catch that. So, JC, it is time for the news of the day, and unfortunately, not all good news, but I will let you lead with the big story that was kind of a surprise this week concerning the Supreme Court.
Me too. I was. Well, we all were. I mean, the nation is gun owners was a little bit disappointed. The Supreme Court was scheduled to hear a really landmark case where New York City had banned the transportation of firearms outside of the city. So if you owned a place in upstate New York, you couldn't take any firearms with you out of the city. I mean, crazy. And then they said if you want to use them in a shooting range, here are the ones you can use. You can't use any other ones but these. And so they took it to the all the way up to the Supreme Court, and they were supposed to have a hearing on this. They did. They said that they're going to consider it. Well, as soon as that happened, everyone realized that New York City was going to lose. Some of the law professors actually said that, wow, this could make the Second Amendment as important as the First Amendment or the Fifth Amendment. and so New York City withdrew that. They withdrew the law. So when it got to the Supreme Court, they said, wow, this has been a year, and they withdrew the law. So really it's a moot point, so we're not going to hear the arguments. And this was going to be a slam dunk for the Second Amendment, and that now it's no longer a controversy. But Judge Kavanaugh and also Alito, Samuel Alito, said, hey, look, they reversed it back to the lower court, which already ruled, but said, look, we've already ruled. The Supreme Court of the United States has already ruled in the District of Columbia versus Heller and a McDonald versus the city of Chicago, and we've already said, so you need to pay attention to what the Supreme Court of the United States has already said. Whether they'll do that or not, we don't know. But because of that, Kavanaugh said, look, we need to now really take a look at this. This is an important issue. So guess what? I mean, they said take a look at it. There are 10 cases that were pending involving their Second Amendment. New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and Maryland, they're taking a look at their handgun licensing scheme, so their permit to carry scheme, as they called it. They're taking a look at that. They're taking a look at assault rifle bans, large capacity bans, and interstate commerce for ammunition, where you're not allowed to buy any ammunition in California. You can't buy any from out of state. They're taking a look at these and rolling these all in. So they're going to decide Monday at 9:30 which cases they're going to go through with. So Kavanaugh said, look, if we're dropping this one, we're jumping on some of the other ones. And so that's coming up. But once again, we have to wait and see. So it was really, really disappointing. And rolled into that disappointment, I was so happy last week. We talked about where a federal judge, Benitez, said in California that they could not do background checks for every ammunition person, that was absolutely horrible, and that it totally took away what the Second Amendment was really about. 120-page article. Well, guess what? They hurried up and rushed it through the 9th U.S. Federal 9th District Court and got a stay on that on Friday. So for 1 week, Californians were allowed to buy ammunition like anybody else could buy it and go in and purchase it. Now they're going to have to go back just the way it was and do a background check, a NICS check, on every box of ammo.
That's just crazy, JC. And we've talked.
That was really disappointing. Both of those rolled together was a tough week for us.
We've talked a long time here, and Dad, I remember you and I having this discussion where these anti-gun municipalities or cities or whoever it is can go and do these outrageous things, even though they know they're not legal. So the preemption laws in Ohio make it so a city can't make a law harsher than the state's law in regards to firearms, but they can take it down and they can cause the NRA or the lawful gun owners to have to go fight that and then back off at the last second and say sorry.
All the time,
and that's what happened in New York.
Yep.
I mean, they pressed this. There's tons of money spent on it to defend it, and it's going to go to Supreme Court, and presumably the good guys are going to win this battle, and at the last second they say, oh, no, you know what, we're just going to change it, and no harm, no foul. And so all the money's been spent.
And so what is this supposed to solve or do anyways? Is it supposed to stop the mass shootings? They're supposed to stop what?
Of course.
What's it supposed to stop?
If you can't have bullets, you can't shoot, right?
Evidently.
That's right. Well, JC, when we come back from the break, and before Big Ed's Gun of the Week, let's get to that the big news out of Canada.
Okay.
It's just craziness, but we'll get to that before Ed's Gun of the Week. But let's go to a quick break. We're on Target, broadcasting live from the studios of LEPD Firearms Range and Training Facility. We'll be right back after the break.
Hey, Facebook fans. Chris, how are you today? I see you're checking in again. Good to hear from you. My buddy Calvin. Sean Calhoun. You love how I use the surface as a stand for a table. Not sure what you mean by that, Sean.
What temp there, Em?
Hold on.
And Cindy, I agree with you 100%. Pawpaw needs to go on probation.
66.
Ooh.
66? It better get warmer than that because I got to ride my motorcycle to Circleville today.
Oh, Eric, yes. Zach wants me to ask you about CCW classes.
Okay.
We can talk about it on Friday, but
okay.
That was my reminder, and I did my job.
Yes. You're both going to take it together, right?
Yeah, we actually have a couple people.
Good.
But I don't know what you're doing with,
Yep. No, we're getting close to starting that back up.
I mean, we could get like 10 people if you want to play favorites and let us have a private class.
Absolutely. And seriously, you can.
Because I think we have close to 10 that
that'd be great. And you know what? Big Ed's an instructor. He can help out with the class.
I'll give you 100% already, Emily.
Oh, thank you. I actually took it in Utah, but, it doesn't really...
Piece
I
of
didn't
cake.
get my actual license part there, so...
Piece of cake.
Just don't pick on me.
Not me.
No,
that's
we're
Eric.
going to.
Eric does.
I'll wear my Team Ed t-shirt that I'm going to make.
That's right, Team Ed. I like that. I need everybody out there to tell Eric to pull me off probation.
Team Ed or Ted.
Ted. Team Ed. Hey, that's a good idea. You got a couple of them every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So what's new in the shop today?
Your ABC 6 first warning weather for today. A mix of sun and clouds, dry and warm, high of 75. Finally. Tonight, a few spotty showers are possible late in the day. The low is going to get down to 57. For Sunday, scattered showers with isolated storms likely in the morning. Scattered rain mainly south of Columbus for the afternoon. It's currently 66 degrees on your severe weather station, News Radio 610 WTVN.
Hey, it's Joe Jewin and Jack DeVos from Over the Line. We take a look back at the lighthearted pop culture stories that may have slipped through the cracks this week. Join us tomorrow night from 7 to 9 on News Radio 610 WTVN.
But all the thought you're giving me is conscience, I guess. If I were walking in your shoes, I wouldn't worry none.
In the chorus.
Are you and your friends are worried about me?
All right, Ed, you ready?
You got to Emily.
Counting flowers on the wall. It don't bother me at all. Wait a minute.
Playing solitaire till dawn with the deck of 51.
Emily, I thought we had a deal.
Smoking cigarettes and watching Captain.
Jeez. So who... all
right.
When I said the boss man goes first, I meant your father.
I know.
Boss man. Now look, that was the Statler brothers, and that's important. I think I wanted her to play that today because the one of the head guys, who's one of the brothers, who founded...
Aren't they all brothers?
No, they're not, as a matter of fact. And their last name is not Statler either. Okay? I don't know where they got the Statler name. Well, I think I know. But anyways, the band was formed in 1955. They sang mostly country and gospel music, and started in 1964 to back up Johnny Cash.
Really?
Yes. And so there was only two actual brothers in the group. It was Harold and Don Reed. Harold is the one that passed away. He sang bass.
Yep.
Okay. And he died April the 24th.
Wow.
Just about a week ago.
Look at you doing no research.
80. Well, see, when you like the group and you like the music, then you do the research.
Right.
All right. But then he did pass away, so that was in his honor.
Right. That's good. Hey, JC, let's hold off on the news there for a second because I want to make sure we give Big Ed. Now, he sits to my right.
Oh.
He sits right here to my right.
Yes,
and, of course, I'm the host, and my dad is to my left, and John's on the phone.
You're right there to the right, yeah.
Yes, he sits to my right. But we want to make sure we give you enough time for your gun of the week. Now, Ed, I ain't going to – and I didn't want to bring this up initially and stuff, but we try to do guns of the week that we've never done before, right? Yeah. Because, you don't want to be repeating and stuff.
We try.
People, they don't want to hear the same gun of the week.
Even though we did it 5 years ago.
Right.
What, this one?
I've done that gun of the week before. I just want to let you know.
Did you?
It was July of 2014.
Well, that wasn't long ago. Maybe we just had to forget it and let John talk.
No. I mean, I think it's good to refresh.
So, Big Ed, tell everyone what your pick for gun of the week is.
All right. This week is the Smith & Wesson Chief Special Now, the thing that I really liked about this was every time I ever said the Chief Special 45 caliber, people would look at me like I was nuts. They say they didn't make a wheel gun in a Chief Special. It's not a wheel gun. Oh, look at this. Oh, come on, guys. Well, we have 4 of them now. But anyways, the Chief Special, 6-round magazine, 1 in the tube. It's a small framed 45. Also came in a 9 and in a 40. Stainless steel or blued, and I think there's a blued one up here on the counter.
Yeah, Pawpaw has a blued one.
Is that a 40? What is that, a 9?
The 45.
45.
Yep.
45. Okay. And I prefer stainless steel because, after you get done shooting them, just throw them in the dishwasher and you're all set. But I purchased this gun probably 15 years ago. And I thought I had something special, and I came in to show it to Eric. He goes, "Hey, I got one of those too."
But you know what? Is mine is a little bit different because at the time, our duty guns at the station were either Smith & Wesson 4506s or we had 4586s.
Right.
So Dad and I had the double action only version of that.
That was the hammer that you had from the airport, wasn't it?
No.
No, weren't those the double action?
They had double actions only.
They had double action, but theirs was 40 caliber.
So ours were double action only, kind of to mimic a revolver, right?
Right.
So for my backup gun, in order to get that, I special ordered. Check this out, Ed.
It's all double action.
No
Mine
kidding.
is a double action only CS45.
And the neat thing about these is that the magazine that fit our duty weapon
also fit in this.
Locks into those. And which is great. And then we found this blue one at a gun show. And the price was right, and I don't know why, but we had to buy it. And I try to carry this as a backup, on duty on my ankle. Just a little bit too big. My pants didn't go down over it very well. So I stopped doing that.
That's because you wear the skinny jeans.
That is true.
No, this one. Now, the capacity on this was 6 and 1.
6 and 1.
6 and 1. The barrel doesn't look like it, but it's 3 1/4 inches.
Yes.
And it has a Hogue grip that wraps around.
Yes.
And I guess the ones that have a hammer, it's a Bob type hammer.
It is.
Frame is alloy aluminum. And actually, they started making those in 1999. Did you know that? And they stopped in 2006.
Really, wasn't that much of a run. But the great thing is it fit your duty mags. I mean, so you didn't miss a beat from it. And they shot. They had a little weight to them.
They are a little heavy, and they are chunky, as you first mentioned.
And what I didn't like about one of the things was my grip. My pinky was always off of the grip. And Eric, you can shoot a gun like that, but when you're shooting a 45 and you don't have your full fingers on it.
Or you mean when you have little hands?
Little hands.
Now, if you're looking on Facebook, I know Matthew asked us to zoom in on one. I don't know if it's gonna show up on this, but one of the ones I have is marked the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife Resources. You see that, Ed?
No, I
there
did not.
There you go. See.
No, I never carried that one.
Nice.
Of course, is the one I carry. JC, what do you know about the CS45?
It's just, and I think for as listening on the radio, I think a lot of the radio listeners are not quite certain size-wise, but I think as you're talking about, the length of it is just like 6 and 2/3 inches long, and the weight is almost 24 ounces, 23.9 ounces. So but you need some heft on that. So it's a little bit wider than some of the smaller carry guns today. It's about 1.4 inches wide. We kind of look at the carry guns as being about an inch or 1.1, but it's still a great gun. The weight, you need that. It's wonderful. What I did is I compared it with what I think the modern kind of version of that still made, the Glock 30S, which is actually the height of that on the CS is 5.2 inches, and the Glock's about a little bit less, 4.8, so it's a half an inch shorter. But it's just slightly longer. It's a little less than 7 inches long, so it's only about 1/3 of an inch, longer than that. So it's in that same size range. So if you if you can't find one of these in a store for sale because they stopped making them, 14 years ago. But the Glock 30S it's pretty much a comparison of a modern version of that CS-45. But it's still a great concealable gun. It's that second generation of Smith & Wesson semi-automatics, and it's really a great gun. That single action, double action, even with the hammer spur, you can't cock it in the first one, double action first pull, and single action after that. It's a really, really good gun. So I'm glad you guys have one of those.
It is solid.
No walk, low mount front sight and rear sight. And
well, this is one of them guns. This is one of them guns you can use. Throw it at somebody if you have to.
There you go. Good gun of the week, Ed. You get a little brownie point for that. When we come back from the break, we're going to have our good friend Rex Gore from Blackwing on with us. We're on Target, broadcasting live from the studios of LAPD Firearms and Range. We'll be back right after the news.
Okay, guys, what'd you think of that gun of the week? That was probably a gun to get me off probation, wasn't it? Just tell Eric, just send your messages out there. Tell him I am off probation. Or the Glock 36, which is my ankle gun before the 30S. How are you today, Sam? Thanks for checking in. Yes, Paul, it made a great backup gun for us coppers. We got somebody saying that Paw needs to go on probation because you're mean to Big Ed. Shall I tell you who said that?
That's not Cindy. No.
Well, Cindy counts. She's one of my number one fans. She might be the number one fan. I don't see you guys chiming in. Let's see you logging in here, and I know there's a lot more of you out there that normally check in on the weekend. Come on with your questions. Anything about the gun of the week? Now let me tell you what. As far as this particular weapon, the Chief Special, I have put this thing through. Well, can I say HE double toothpicks on the air?
We're not on the air right now, Ed. You can probably say it.
I have put this thing through hell. I have. I mean, I have. Papa was yelling at me a little bit ago about dropping it on the counter. We'll just bang around with it. Man, I've done worse than that with this. The amount of rounds that I've put through this gun, out in the elements, throwing it in the car, in the back seat, dropping it on the ground.
Hey, Matthew was asking how heavy it was again, Ed. I think John had that.
I don't know what the actual weight is, but it's got to be.
The weight empty is almost 24 ounces.
Wow.
And like I said, it's so heavy that once you run out of bullets, if you can throw it and hit somebody, you could knock them out easily.
Yep.
It was almost too heavy to carry on the ankle.
Yeah.
I know Eric used to carry it on the ankle all the time. I didn't carry mine on the ankle. I would carry it in a separate holster in my backside. But I do like the gun. I've been threatening to let it go a couple of times and trade it in on something else. And Eric goes, yeah, but that thing's going to be worth some money in a little while. You better hang on to it.
Well, tell them they made it in other calibers, too.
Yeah, 9 millimeter and 40 don't matter to me.
Yeah.
If it's not a 45, it's not.
True.
John Bean carried a 40 for a long time.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
No, he carried a 9, didn't he?
The 9, I think, yeah.
There was a lot of guys who carried that gun. But the thing that I always liked was when I said Chief Special, everybody said, what are you talking about, a 45 and a Chief Special? Yeah. That one threw everybody for a loop. That was one of my fun things. Cindy, I thought it was your gun of the week, but everyone else explained I'm your number one fan. Thank you, Cindy. And you're right. They always throw me under the bus. Good gun, Mike Conley says. Thanks, Mike. And Paul says free Big Ed. It's kind of like Free Willy. I've been waiting for my brother to check in from Florida. Has not yet.
Free Big Ed. We about back there, Em?
Any of us know our way?
Yeah, we have about 30 seconds.
Well, all right.
Steve Johnson Luce wants to know if any of us know anything.
You tell that Steve Luce
PPKs.
That next week the entire show is on PPKs.
There you go, Steve.
Just for Steve.
Every bit of the show next week, except for when John talks. Which is a lot. We're going to be talking
He
about
can
the
hear
Walther
you.
PPK. He can? Oh, darn.
Here we go,
Love you,
guys.
John. Love you, John.
Here we go.
Live from LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility, this is On Target, the latest from the firearms industry, the products and politics that affect your hobby and liberty. This program may not be politically correct, but it is On Target. Now, your host, Eric Delbert.
Welcome back to On Target. I'm your host, Eric. Joined today in the LAPD studios, my father, co-owner, sits to my left. Big Ed is to my right, and JC is on the phone with us. Papa.
For the record, Cindy, for the record.
Don't pick on Cindy.
No, I'm not picking on Cindy.
All right.
No. Eric and I go way back with that. And I don't know, very long time ago, we used to double up in the cruiser, be a two-man car. We used to have a blast.
You scared me.
Well, you scared me, but then again, we had fun.
Yeah.
We had fun. And we pick on Ed because he's like a big teddy bear.
He is. And you know what? And we're having fun with the commercial breaks now and stuff. It's worth watching on Facebook just to see some of that, I think. So speaking of fun, Blackwing Shooting Center.
Fun.
Going outside to their range, going to their store, great place in Delaware. And we have our good friend Rex Gore, who owns it, on the line with us. Are you there, Rex?
I am there. How are you today?
We are good. Now, you and I talked recently, and even though the conditions aren't ideal, you and I spoke, and we both agree it's kind of been a little bit of a silver lining. It's felt like we've had part-time jobs this last month. We're actually able to go home, cut the grass without using the lights on the lawnmower and stuff. So you guys still hanging in there?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, it is nice, only being open from 10 to 5 curbside this week. So I'm kind of like you. I'm not really looking forward to going back to working late at nights, but we need to get the business going.
Right. So what's your plans? I know you talked, I think you're doing stuff similar to us coming this week. What's your plans for the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, we're still running curbside today. We do have the outdoor ranges open. It's a beautiful day. I got a lot of people out shooting clay targets. And come Tuesday when we open back up, we're going to do the inside retail, open to the customers, open to the public, as well as the indoor range, kind of on a limited basis, reservation basis, and try to keep people, separated. We'll all be wearing masks, and all provide a nice, clean environment for everybody to come out. So we're looking forward to kind of easing back into this, at least for the next week or two, and see how things go. And hopefully we can get back to business as normal here before too long.
Right, we agree. Did you? How did you feel business was in this last month with the curbside? And we were doing similar here. Were you still selling stuff?
Yeah, it's not near enough to cover the overhead, unfortunately, but a little bit's better than nothing. And we're blessed to be able to be open, be essential, and help those customers, in their time of needs. And even with only just the retail open, we still had people coming out, still sold, guns and ammo, but again, not the volume of business that we need to even break even. But like I said, a little bit's better than nothing, and we're looking forward to getting things back open so, we keep everybody paid and take care of our customers on a little more expanded basis.
Right, and we were kind of the same way here. I mean, we still sold quite a few guns here and there and ammo. But, as you know, and people who aren't in this industry, the selling of the guns, especially new firearms, is the least profitable part of the business. I mean, and so, I mean, it's kind of one of those necessary evils, honestly, and it's everything else. It's the accessories, it's the ammo, it's the range, everything else. And so, even though we were able to sell some stuff, I'm like you said, it's hard because it's not the profitable part of the business to pay the bills. So, but we're looking forward to it as well. Are you still going to be closed on Sundays?
Yeah, at least for a few more weeks. We're still going to keep the Tuesday through Saturday, the 10 a.m. to 5. Open, and we'll see how things go toward the end of the month and see how things progress, and hopefully we'll get back to our normal schedule at least here in a few weeks.
Yeah, I think we're the same way. I think you and I have both commented how it's kind of peaceful to not have to be there on Sundays. So
yeah, amen to that.
Yeah,
I wish we could continue that, but we're in the entertainment business, and where they got to be there for our customers, when they're off work. And so at some point we'll, have to go back to later hours in the evening and, of course, the weekend. So.
Yep, we hear you. We hear you. Well, hey, thanks so much for calling in. And I know we say it every time, but we are going to show up on your doorstep one of these days to go out and have a little competition with some of the clays out back and have some fun.
Yeah, well, we'll be looking forward to that, and just let me know, and we'll get you out there.
All right. Well, let us know if we can help with anything. And that's Mr. Rex Gore. He's been in the business a long time, owner of Blackwing Shooting Center out there in Delaware. Definitely a great place to stop by and check out, and good friend of ours and good friends of the industry and of the Second Amendment. So, guys, we actually have a minute here. Hey, JC, before we go into the break, you want to do the story that we were talking about in regards to Canada and
Canada? Yeah. Well, what happened in Canada, unfortunately, on the 18th and 19th of April, they had a man who was banned from owning and possessing firearms since 2008. He was supposed to go to anger management classes, all this other kind of stuff, and whether he did or not, I don't know. But he blew a gasket on the 18th and 19th and went out and is responsible for 22 deaths. Now, 9 of them were because people burned to death when he caught houses on fire. But he did shoot and kill 13 people. Well, this was a couple of weeks ago, obviously, and their parliament has not been in session due to the COVID situation. But their head of their government, which is the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, came up and just said, you know what? I don't need a law to do this from lawmakers. Implemented by regulation immediately. There's going to be the ban on the use and trade or sale of assault-style weapons. So immediately, and that was this week, actually just the other day. And he just said that there's no need for these, and they listed over 1,500 models and variations of what they term assault-style weapons. And there you go. Now, we said, what about people who own them in Canada? Well, you can't use them. It's not against the law to have them right now, but he said when Parliament gets back in there, they're going to give 2 years to figure out if they're going to do a buyback program or if they're going to just confiscate them or grandfather them in. But that was it. And he just did that by fiat. I'm the king. Here's what I say, and this is what happened. Just like that. So
JC, I mean, it does.
As Eric and I were talking about earlier, guys, I said, yeah, I bet Beto O'Rourke is going, hey, can you give me a list of those 1,500 and save me a little bit of work? Because as Biden's projected gun czar, he's the one, by the way, if you forget, said he was going to come into your house and take them away from you. So anyway, so that just happened and on our northern border. So
and JC,
that's not good news.
I mean, isn't that typical of anti-firearm folks? That so it's not illegal to own it for 2 years, so you can keep it, but it is against the law to use it now, effective immediately.
Yeah, you can look at it, right?
So
exactly.
You can clean it.
These are tragedies, but this knee-jerk reaction of one person in the country
who was illegal to have it anyways,
and all of a sudden they say, "Well, all you legal owners, the heck with your rights." Oh, no, they don't have a Second Amendment like we have in our Constitution, but they said that's it. Nobody can have them. No one can use them. Yep. It's against the law, and we're going to take them away, maybe buy them back, or whatever they're going to do with them. That's up to Parliament, but I'm banning them right this second.
And that's going to stop the bad guys. That's going to stop the bad. I mean, how?
It didn't stop him. He wasn't allowed to own or possess, and bingo. So yeah,
knee jerk.
It doesn't stop any of them.
Right.
So.
Well, let's go into a break. And actually, I just saw someone chimed in on Facebook for the first time ever, Paul. I see Amy on there.
Which Amy?
You're Amy.
That's
right. So when we come back from the break, we're going to talk about some of the new items out there. We have them all over the desk if you're watching on Facebook. We're on Target, broadcasting live from the studios of LAPD Firearms and Range. We'll be right back after the break.
I didn't see Amy on here.
You good, Em?
Yeah.
Okay. No, look, right there says Amy Elizabeth joined.
Not on my phone.
Really?
Must be a secret connection she has with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Is that your sister?
That is my sister, his daughter.
Well, I would assume it was his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize you had a sister.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't talk about her much, you know.
Well,
I don't really. Are we on?
Is she married?
Yeah. Yep. Has 3 cool kids, cool husband.
I feel really bad for her husband then to meet your father, because I'd be terrified.
Hey,
he's nothing to be afraid of. Trust me.
We'll have to tell you about the first time they dated since high school. The first time he showed up at the house. Hey, and real quick, what's temp?
67.
67. Hey, what's tonight? It says I don't have. Is it a low of 57 tonight, or what do they?
56, low 56. I know. I noticed he cut it off. Hold on.
I just guessed.
Cindy.
Your ABC 6 first. Warning weather for today. Mix of sun and clouds. Dry and warm. High of 75. For tonight, a few spotty showers are possible late in the night. Low of 56. Sunday, scattered showers with an isolated storm likely in the morning. Scattered rain mainly south of Columbus for the afternoon. Currently 67 degrees on your severe weather station. News Radio 610 WTVN.
Ohio's talk shines. News Radio 610 WTVN.
So that's it. Why, I'm here for his songs, and he's nowhere to be found. Thanks, Em.
He wanders off occasionally.
He does wander off. And he'll find his way back eventually. Welcome back to On Target. I'm your host, Eric, joined today in the LEPD studios right here at 999 Bethel Road. We are open, too. Up top, you can come knock on the door, have all the items for sale today. Big Ed sits to my right. He's manning the Facebook page. If you have a question, send it over to him there, and he will answer that. My father and co-owner Phil typically sits to my left, although he's gone for the moment. And JC is on the line with us. You still there, JC?
I'm sitting to your very far right.
Oh, he's far right. All right. Okay. So, JC, we have had on the – well, first of all, before we get to a couple of these new items, a couple of things I wanted to chime in out there. I'm excited, guys, not to go beyond today's show. I'm excited about the next couple of weeks. Next week, it's all about the Walther PPK, the history of it, the different manufacturers of it, and we're going to bring you right up to some of the
what are we looking at?
Huh? We're looking at the blank screen there where Pulpo should have been. And we're going to bring you right up to speed on the new Walther PPKs made again by Walther. So that's next week. The week after that, I think it's the 16th of May, it's a show about AKs. And who else better to have an expert on AKs than Vince Buckles himself? He's calling in.
Good, because I thought you were going to say it was me.
No. Ed, you weren't here when he's been on before.
No, I haven't.
He has probably most famous for his role as the gunsmith on Sons of Guns, the Discovery show and stuff. So he has a wonderful shop. They do custom, beautiful AKs. He's coming in 2 weeks. He'll be on with us. So all kinds of cool things. One of the things I wanted to give to mention as well in these times, and I meant to ask Rex about this. Of course, our classes have been shut down for a month, hoping to get those rolling again. There's a lot of things out there about taking your CCW class online. And, though it is a legal way to do it, it's something that you should really think hard about before you sign up to do an online CCW class. There's so many things you learn in a classroom setting that you just don't get from that. And there's some issues with taking it online. So
they're paying attention for sure.
Well, or who's taking the class. I mean, when you take that test and you still have to go to a store or a range to spend 2 hours with them on the range. So there's a lot of pitfalls to it, and we haven't been big fans with it, and I don't think our friends over at Blackwing have either, just because there's so much benefit to having an in-person interaction with the instructors, and especially for a newer shooter.
Another good reason why the laws that we have on guns that don't do anything, and here you have something we're going to start teaching people how to shoot guns, carry a gun. Online. Who you don't even know if they're paying attention while you're doing the class.
I know. So it's
who's taking the test for you?
Exactly.
Or who's taking the test?
Exactly.
I know. So there's my my editorial for the week. So let's get to some fun things. Dad, I think you have a couple in front of you. JC, I've been dying to talk about this, not necessarily in a good way, but FN, through the midst of all of this, started shipping the FN 503.
Good number, by the way.
It is sharp. It is sharp. It is their version of a single stack concealed carry, definitely concealable, smaller firearm. It's in 9mm. JC, what have you found out about it?
Well, it's to me, I say it. I mean, great gun company, great gun, but they're kind of late to the game with coming out with a small 9. But it is pocket. Again, it's that 1.1 inches wide, which you're going to find with the Glock series and the 43 and the FN or the SIG 365. That in that range, and also the Shield. 3-inch barrel, which is fine. It does have a recessed crown, which is a nice thing to have. But it doesn't hold a lot of rounds. Again, it's kind of when they come out, you would think they would be into that 10-round capacity thing, but now it's like a 6+1, 7+1 size, and that is what. And then price-wise, it's a little bit more expensive because FNs are more expensive. So when I saw it, I said, "Hey, this is cool. It's a nice gun, but what's it bring to the table?" You got the Hellcat out there, a lot of other things, but it's FM quality. It is based on their 509, which they spent a great deal of time developing that series for. Long-lasting reliability. So that's what they kind of come with. And they do make, over 80% of the FN of the firearms for our U.S. military. So they should know what they're doing. So, but that's kind of what they came up with. And I was a little bit actually more interested in this new FN 509 compact MRD. That kind of caught my eye.
And so, JC, Paul, if you're watching on Facebook, he has it in his hands right now. And just as a shout out, my birthday is this week. And tell us about this, JC. It is sharp.
Well, the 509, I mean, it's a real compact series. It's I guess most people call it a subcompact, but. The MRD, by the way, it's like, hey, what are those? Everyone's got 3-letter initials, but this is simply the miniature red dot. So this has a plate on it, and it says it takes all the popular miniature red dots, and that it's designed so that the sights are co-imposed on it, so you can get, your iron sights on the guns will match up with the red dot. So that's co-witnessing is technically what they call that. And it's really, it's small. It's got a 3.7-inch barrel, 9mm. Obviously, it's very compact, but it comes with a 12-round magazine. So it's got a 12+1. That puts a leg up on some of the other guns. It also will take the regular 509 magazine, so you can stick a big long magazine and get a cover up for your exposed magazine to make it feel like a real gun.
Yeah.
But
JC,
it looks like the real deal. So it's about 25 ounces empty, so it's heavy to manage this. But yeah, so
Popo has cool. Popo has an observation though with it there. What's your thoughts there that you picked up on the sights?
I don't like the sights. They're too tall. I mean, to me, they're too tall. I know why they're tall.
Right.
But to me, I always think about getting a holster for it, being able to carry it, and it's like you keep on hinting that you want this one. Now I've got a magazine.
Right around the corner.
I know. And how old will you be?
I haven't looked yet.
Okay, I'll look. This one here, the magazine holds 15 plus 1 in the tube, so it's 16 rounds. And I don't know. I just if it had short sights on it, it'd be fine.
Yeah. And you know what? You bring up a good point, because as much as I admire this firearm and stuff, and it has a lot of things going for it, if you're not putting an optic on it or suppressing it, those suppressor height sights do kind of jump out at you. I mean, they look nice. I mean, you can pick up on them easy, but they do kind of jump out as sticking up without having an optic on there. So, but definitely really nice.
Now I have to ask, Eric.
You have the 15 round in there. It does ship with both a 12 round and a 15-round magazine.
Well,
So
and
you get
JC,
both of those choices. But one of the things I wanted to say is when they did their first intro to this gun, the first words out of their mouth were that optics are the future of handgun shooting, and that was their first word. So what they designed those high sights for, and I don't like them either. I'm with Phil on this because I like stuff that doesn't snag, and there it goes. On the other hand, they want that co-witnessing for optics, and they believe that that optics are the way to go. And SIG has been doing it. The 365, the Hellcat, you can order that from Springfield, right from the factory with that. So I think that that's kind of what they're looking at is optics being our future. And they say more police departments are shifting to it, and the military. So there's got to be something to say for it. As our eyes get older, Phil, I think you and I know that sometimes it really helps to have a red dot on there. It's harder for me right now to position my hand so it's right on every time I pull up. It's a matter of training and practice. But
I have a question.
So there you go.
I have a question for Eric. Why is this particular one only sold to
law enforcement? It comes with an extra mag. So
is that the only?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the price. So we have them for law enforcement. And so the price and is a price break on it, and it comes with an extra mag. So definitely a nice package.
They are commercially available.
They are commercially available as well, too. Yep. So, guys, that is about it. I'm going to leave with a final thought. Not that you need inspiration from a bunch of yahoos sitting around a table, but I was reading some things this week.
Excuse me.
Huh? No, I say that. I say that in
a loving way, I'm sure.
Well, and I say that,
and he's looking at me and you, Ed.
I know.
I'm here too. So, but
I thought we were going to have inspiration from Phil, not Eric.
Well, that only went a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So. But in these trying times, remember that sometimes all it takes is a different perception of the difficulties that we are facing. So when controllers at NASA realized the gravity of the situation when Apollo 13 was presumed to be doomed, they commented amongst themselves that this could be our worst disaster in NASA history. And then, do you remember what Gene Kratz said? He said, overhearing these comments, he said, with all due respect, I believe it's going to be our finest hour. So remember that. There's all kinds of negative things going on, but we come out of this better than we went into it, and things will be all right. We look forward to seeing you this Tuesday here at the range. We're opening it back up. Thanks for spending the hour with us. And next week, it's all about Walther PPKs.
See you then.
From the Elk and Elk Studios, serious lawyers for serious.
I gotta pick that band.
I'm ready, Emily, when you are ready.
Are you doing the promos?
Yeah. Why?
Oh, I thought that was your dad. I'm like.
Do I sound like my father?
No.
Are you saying I'm sounding old?
No. Hold on 1 second. Okay, I'm ready whenever
you know,
are.
I'm not one to spout off that, my birthday's right around the corner. But do you know my birthday's right around the corner?
Did you know that maybe you'll just get a cake or something on Friday?
Yeah.
What?
I
mean,
do you know I'm in my 40s, right?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I just want to make sure you knew that.
I thought you were in your 30s. So.
Did you?
Yeah. No, I don't know. I'm bad with age.
Paul was threatening to put the headset back on.
Why?
I don't know. He just does that. He's just
correcting you on something.
Well, probably. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Uh-oh. Hold on 1 second here. Ed, Popo, you have Gun of the Week next week. Popo has Gun of the Week sponsored by, oh my word. Shoot. All right, here we go. This is Eric from OnTarget. This week we talk about the Walther PPK. Oh, hold on 1 second. Let me do it one more time. This is Eric from OnTarget. This week we talk about the Walther PPK, and Pawpaw has the Gun of the Week, sponsored by CNS Engraving. Tune in Saturday at noon or live from LEPD Studios on Bethel Road. This is Eric from OnTarget. This week we talk about the history of the Walther PPK, and Pawpaw has the Gun of the Week, sponsored by CNS Engraving. Tune in tomorrow at noon or live from LEPD Studios on Bethel Road. This is Eric from OnTarget. Today we talk about the Walther PP. Oh, let's try that one again. This is Eric from OnTarget. Today we talk about the history of the Walther PPK, and Pawpaw has the Gun of the Week, sponsored by CNS Engraving. Tune in today at noon or live from LEPD Studios on Bethel Road.
Sounds good.
Thank you, ma'am. I am signing off Facebook, and hey, I'm on with Blazer on Tuesday. I think you're not there, are you?
Nope, I am not the producer.
Bye, Big Ed. All right. We'll keep in touch this week.